probably require some erasing, and that messes with the surface of the canvas paper and gets it kind of messy. I'm going to draw it first on tracing paper so that I can transfer it later to the canvas paper. To get the proportions correct, I have drawn a vertical and a horizontal line that divides the composition in half. So on tracing paper, remember the tracing paper is the see-through paper. You should do the same thing. Create a vertical and horizontal line that divides it in half vertically and horizontally. Next, I'm going to keep my reference images open on my laptop, or if I have them printed, I can have them printed out next to me so that I can refer to them while doing some of this drawing. I want to keep the drawing really basic. The lines and outlines should be basic because the brush is going to do all of the detailing work later. But I do want to be sure that the girl and the man, who are the dueling focal points here, are taking up as much space in my drawing or layout as they were in the thumbnail. A lot of times what happens is a student will draw this, like for example, this little girl, the same exact size on this paper. And as you can see, this paper is twice as big as the thumbnail. So I need to be sure that when I draw her, I'm drawing her twice as large. And that's where these grid lines come into help. So I have already started the drawing here. And I've drawn the lines of the doorway and the wall in the background first. And I also drew an ellipse for the coffee table in the space where I believe it was in my thumbnail drawing. And now I want to plan out how large I want to draw the man and the little girl. And I can draw in some of the basic lines of the kitchen behind the man. But I don't want to, again, I don't want to do any details because I'm going to do that later with the brush. And if I do too many details on the layout, I might wind up painting over them, and it's just a lot of wasted time. Okay, so the girl, we've already established that this paper is twice as large as the thumbnail, a little bit more than twice as large. So I know that she's going to be twice as big over here. There's a couple ways that you can make sure that you're drawing something in correct proportions. One is with a little strip of paper. So if I measure this little girl, I can see she's about this big. And then if I go twice as big, moving that little dot up and her feet marking off the bottom, I know that when I draw her on this canvas paper, then I need to make her from here to here. So that's how much space she's going to have to take up in my layout. I can also use my pencil as a measuring tool. If she's this large and I start her out here, if her feet are there, I can measure from here. I know that her feet will be along this line, and then I'll move the pencil up, and then the top of her head will be here. And I think we said it's a little bit more than twice as big, so I'm going to go like that large. And then I can just start with some of the basic lines, like how big her head might be, and the hair swinging, and her little body kind of dancing with her elbow out. Whoa. And then I can measure the man in the same way. He's this large in my thumbnail, so he should be twice as large. Once, twice. So his head will be like around here. Okay, so I have the dueling focal points now in the drawing, and I can continue and add as many of the basic lines that I want to add into it, and maybe darken them up a little. But I'm not going to add like the things on the wall yet, or the little handles, or any of those details. That I'm going to save for my brush to do. I don't want to waste too much time with a bunch of lines that might get painted over later. But now what I've done is I've established the same proportions in the layout cartoon as I had in my thumbnail, and that was my goal.